Hi Lenormand readers, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Download your starter guide so you can discover and master this amazing deck. Welcome to a new weekly reading, folks. We are using the blink of an eye today, and we are doing a line of 7. Let's go ahead and start with you, Aries. As usual, let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your line of 7. It starts off a little bit tricky with the clouds and the fox, but then we have the beautiful flowers and the beautiful sun almost in the center. The flowers is in the middle and the sun is nearby. And then here we wrap up with a couple of neutral cards. There's the mountain. It can be a card of obstacles, but it is also a card of abroad or other locations or possibly something online. So starting off here, we have the clouds and fox. So this is a tricky pair, Aries. It points to possibly manipulation and possibly something that's going on behind the scenes. We have the ring after the fox, so we could be looking at a relationship or possibly you're negotiating some kind of agreement or a contract. We could also be looking at your commitments or something that you're responsible for. So with the clouds and fox, you could be feeling a bit stressed about it. There could be someone who's difficult to work with or whom you know is not particularly honest. And you could also be feeling a little bit half-hearted about this whole situation. But the thing about the flowers and sun is that they are very bright cards. So they easily overcome the challenges that we see earlier. If this is about your commitment, I think you can resolve this internally and externally and feel good about everything. If we're talking about a person or something that you're negotiating, you can overcome the doubts and the issues that we see with the clouds and fox and find yourself on the same page and also in a bright spot with confidence. Now, the lily and mountain can mean a couple of things. The lily is a card of work and career. So this is great for negotiating a contract or doing well on the job or resolving issues with people on the job or usually in a practical area of your life. So that works out well. The lily is also a card of life path in general. And so you could be looking at your direction or your involvement or, the things that you're invested in, Aries, through the ring. And here with the positive resolution that we see with the flowers and sun, you're able to move forward and pursue your work, your job, or, this direction that you're focusing on right now. Now, the mountain can also mean a couple of things. The mountain can be a card of obstacles. So seeing it at the end of the line here, after this positive stuff, it can slow you down. I don't think it's going to be a harsh obstacle like it can be because we have the beautiful flowers and sun, and the flowers is in the middle. The sun is also a very powerfully positive card. So it does help tone down the mountain a little bit. It can also be asking you to slow down or to put things on hold. And there's no need to rush. So, enjoy this process and move forward calmly and maybe even slowly. Now, another sense that is associated with the mountain is often a location in another place, like abroad or just farther from where you are. And with the lily, you could be contemplating maybe pursuing something in that location. Maybe you're thinking of setting up your life abroad or having something to do with it. You could also be going on a vacation because the sun tends to represent that with cards like the mountain. So this could be a good time to enjoy some time off. So taking this line together, there's a few ways we can read this, Aries. Something that comes to my mind is that maybe you could take a break from your involvements or certain relationships and go off a little bit on your own. That's possible. In terms of the relationships, we see that they are resolved, but also the mountain can suggest a bit of distance. So it helps that once you've resolved the differences, you maintain, a healthy a boundary, shall we say. And in terms of your commitments or how you feel about your involvements, I think you can certainly refresh your enthusiasm, Aries, but maybe in order to do that, you might want to get away a little bit. If you can do this within the week, it sounds like it's a good idea. Now let's also look at the pairs here. The ring and sun is great for a relationship, your commitments, or anything else you're negotiating. This is great. So clearly an indication of a resolution. The fox and lily can definitely bring up your work or your job or your career. So this could be the area that is in focus for you. And then the clouds and mountain is definitely a combination of an obstacle, feeling a little bit stuck or a bit confused. But I think the stuckness is pronounced with the mountain, especially in this order. So again, Aries, it sounds like you're working through an issue. I have to say it's not a huge deal, but it does cause you a bit of stress, and it is related to how you feel about things and how you think about them. So focus on resolving this, and if there's an inner conflict, work on that as well. With people, you're able to resolve the differences and maintain proper boundaries. With your work, you're able to move forward, and maybe you're looking at some opportunities abroad. And like we said, with any inner conflicts, I think it's a good idea to take a step back and enjoy some time off. So really beautiful cards. Focus on resolving this so that you're free from it, Aries, and you'll find that you are able to do this successfully. Let me know how this plays out for you. I'd be really interested to know in what context this played out for you, Aries, if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you. Okay, Taurus, here is your line of 7. We have a couple of very bright cards. We have the flowers and the key, and these are really strongly positive cards. We do have the snake and fox in the line, and they have a lot of similarities. They're both kind of deceptive kind of cards, especially the snake, which tends to be a bit more toxic. But we have the key after the fox, so this tells us that you'll be able to resolve this. Now, in the middle, we have the lily. This can point to a couple of things, or 3. It can suggest your work, your career. It can suggest your life as a whole, and it can point to health. So let's back up here and read the cards in turn. So the snake and flowers, this is an interesting pair, especially with the ring, because the flowers is a bright card, but with the snake, it tends to represent someone who's kind of false to your face, and it represents someone who is shallow or pretends to be nice. And we see it with the ring, so that emphasizes the idea of a person and a relationship. So that is something you need to be aware of. Now, the lily can take on a few different meanings here. It can suggest that this is the context of work. It can point to something in relation to your health, but what I feel is the stronger message coming from the lily in the context of these first 3 cards is that you are going to have the wisdom to manage this person well. And we see this confirmation through the fox and key. So the key is a card of solutions and resolutions and problem solving. It's also a very smart card, and we see it with the fox, which is also smart, and it's also a card that knows how to charm the birds of the trees. It knows how to say nice things. It knows how to be tactful and diplomatic. So with the key, it's clear that you're going to be able to manage this relationship in a smart way. Now at the end here we have the mountain, and the mountain is often a card of obstacles, but it's also a card of blockages, and in this context it's very clear that you're going to be able to create a healthy boundary between you and this person. So the first way to read the line is clearly managing a difficult person or someone who doesn't have the best of intentions, let's say, and you see through that and you're able to, I would say, put them in place and also create a healthy boundary with them. So be aware of who might be this person in your life, Taurus. Now, another way we can look at the cards is in terms of your goals, especially in the context of work or your projects or the practical side of your life, because we have both the lily and fox, and each of them can be about work, especially when they show up together. So in this context, the idea of a snake, flowers, and ring is you could be after something, or you might want to charm someone and win them over. And it sounds like you're able to do this really well. If you're going after a new job, you could get it. If you're going after a project, you can get it. If you're working through something at work, you could also get it. The thing about the mountain here is that it does, again, encourage you to go slow and to create a healthy boundary between you and other people. And I would also say, Taurus, it's a good idea to make sure you are operating within your own boundaries. So not overstepping others or doing things like that. Now, one more way we could read the cards, well, actually, there's plenty of ways we can read any set of cards, but for our general forecast here, the mountain can be a card of travel. It could be a place abroad. So maybe you're trying to break through into this location, you're trying to get your way into this other place. And it sounds like you're able to, but I have to say, Taurus, that because the mountain can also be an obstacle, it tends to be a bit of a slower card, and we see it at the end of the line. So you're probably going to make some progress, but you still need to be gentle about it and discreet about it and not avoid being pushy. And this advice clearly comes through the snake and fox. You're still on the right track, and you're still able to, maneuver things in a smart way and make progress. But it's still a bit slow. It's still a bit sensitive, maybe. So take it easy. Now, looking at the pairs along the sides of the pyramid, we've got the ring and fox. This is great for a relationship, especially one that's work related. If it's personal, the fox can be a bit difficult. It's not a really warm card with people, but it's great with jobs. So again, you could get a job, you could get an involvement, one that you're after, or you could get a customer. So really nice cards here. The flowers and key is the brightest combination. It's very much a combination of success and well-being and all around breakthroughs and wish fulfillment. So these are a great pair to suggest that you're going to get what you want. Now here's a helpful pair. The snake and mountain. This really confirms what we were saying earlier. The snake and mountain is about going around someone's back or going around an obstacle. The idea here is that it's not a confrontation. It's not the direct path. It's the indirect path. So you have to be discreet. Maybe you ask other people, not the person themselves, and you do things like that. So getting around things. It's also a bit of a slower energy. So again, tread cautiously and discreetly and take your time with it and don't be frustrated. You're definitely making progress, but it's just a bit on the quieter side, Taurus, but keep your eyes on the goal. Keep your eyes on the prize. So really interesting cards. And, it is underway. It might not feel because it's not so fast, but take it easy, Taurus, because you are definitely on track, and remain very aware and remain very alert and be smart all throughout. Don't be pushy, but you're making progress. I'd be really interested to know how this plays out for you, Taurus. If you're willing to share, leave me a comment or two. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Gemini, here is your line of 7. This is a very interesting, curious, even strange line. There's just it's a funny set of cards. What stands out, obviously, is the man and woman. They bracket the line. And then in the middle here, we have an interesting dynamic. We do have the mouse, which is a little bit challenging, but the bear can aggravate it, sort of, and so can the cross. And earlier here, we have a change. And it sounds like it has to do with something from the past or something that picks up. The cross in the middle, this is a layered card. It can mean a few different things. The cross can be an important decision, and it could also point to a burden or something heavy that you're dealing with. And with the man and woman here, we could be looking at a relationship. We could be looking at your parents. We could be looking at any pair in your life, and we could be looking at the relationship that you have with this person. And it doesn't have to be a man and a woman, it could be any two people. So just keep that in mind. So let's back up here. So we have the man with the stork and tower. This is definitely something picking up from the past, or perhaps in relation to something official, legal, or maybe work related. We could be looking at a manager. We do have the bear, which is also a manager card, or someone up there. So you might need to do something. You might need to take a step, take initiative to get in touch with this person, or to follow through on something that you're working through, maybe a process, something administrative or something like that. So the stork is about change, and it sort of kicks off things, and it's an active card. So this does involve meeting with this person, following through, or picking up where you left. Now the cross is a bit difficult here. It can add to tests, to the challenges that we see here, and it can be a trial or a test that you do. That is possible. And with the The Tower, which is an official card, maybe you have to get certified, or you have to demonstrate yourself, or you have to pass a test, or, do any of these things. That's possible. More commonly, the Cross is a card of challenges and difficult decisions, possibly sacrifices. So you have to take on the moving forward with this process or this issue. And if this is about a manager or someone of influence in your life, maybe the decision is in their hands and it's kind of out of your hands. So that can also weigh on you a little bit, but it's good at least that there's progress. Now, the Mouse is a somewhat negative card. It's not the most dramatic of cards. It points to losses and little annoyances here and there. But I have to say, Gemini, because we have the Bear, it can aggravate this a little bit, and so can the Cross. So you need to work on closing the gaps. And I also want to say, Gemini, that you don't want to postpone this anymore. It sounds like you're not in the mood of doing this, and it's annoying and everything, but I don't suggest that you postpone this anymore. You don't want the issues to grow bigger. You don't want them to become, to get out of control at any point. Now, on the other side of the Bear, we have the Woman, and the Bear and Woman, a bit like the Stork and Man, can represent someone who is in a level of authority. That's why I suggested parents earlier, like we have both pairs here, so they can, each pair can represent senior people or older people or people of influence. And we have both the Man and Woman, so there's like that sign. So the Bear and Woman represents someone who's important to you. She could be a boss, she could be anyone of influence. And it sounds like you need to collaborate with her as well. I have to wonder if maybe you're playing go-between and it's like a bit annoying because maybe they don't get along all that well and you're playing go-between and you have to fix things and, get them to cooperate or make things work. So that could be on your plate this week, Gemini, and that could be a little bit annoying, but it sounds like you've got to do it. Again, the cards are not dramatic, as long as you're willing to take control right now, Gemini, the cards are not dramatic. And also in terms of relationships, these are not the warmest of cards for relationships. And I think Gemini, you might want to review a little bit the relationship and rethink it, see how you want to stay in it. It could be two other people, or it could be you and the other person. It could be something like a triangle of a relationship. And you want to revise a little bit this dynamic. At the same time, Gemini, you need to take a stand. So anything that is going against your grain or that is not fitting, you need to take a stand. That's why we have the Stork and the Bear. This is an active card, and this is a strong, confident power card. So step up to this, deal with the issues, and also create healthy boundaries with people where you can. Follow through where you must, and also close any and all gaps. And if it's about getting two people on the same page, I'm not so sure you get them exactly on the same page, but you've got to do what you've got to do. So looking at the pairs along the sides here, we've got the Tower and Mouse. And this is a combination that points to something that's getting tiresome. So again, I was just saying that you don't want to postpone this anymore. It sounds like the longer you postpone or the longer it drags, the more difficult it gets. So see if you can draw a line this week, Gemini. The Stork and Bear is lovely. This is great for empowerment, for stepping up and taking charge. There may be some things out of your hands, but what you can do, you must do, and don't delay anymore. And then we've got the Woman and Man. So this is a neutral combination. It points to a relationship. And so it's very clear that you're working through a dynamic with someone or with two other people. Now the context here is flexible. I'm suspecting something a bit more in the professional side of your life, or practical things, administration, legal, but not necessarily personal, because we don't have many warm personal cards. So that's my feeling. So in the context of work, you could be negotiating, dealing with people, trying to bring people on the same page, following through on certain processes. And so there's a bit of a drag here. Now, in case this is a personal relationship, this is not the warmest of cards, Gemini, and so I'm not sure how personal you want to get with this person. So be aware that there could be some trust issues, or there's like baggage, you know, in the relationship. And I'm not sure if you want to get too deeply involved with this person or in this dynamic, if it's two other people. And if you are already in it, Gemini, this is definitely a message to rethink it a little bit, or at least take a stand somewhere in it. So it's been weighing on you, and you need to act, and you need to draw some boundaries. So very interesting set of cards. I'd be really curious to know how they play out for you in your personal life, or like in your specific circumstance. Gemini, if you're willing to share, as always, I look forward to your comments. Very best of luck with this. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Cancer, here is your line of 7. It's a bit curious because of the snake. Everything else is normal. The snake sort of changes a little bit the line. As you know, the snake is a challenging card. It tends to point to someone or something deceptive. But the thing about it is that we have the sun next to it, so it's going to change it a little bit. Now we have the woman in the cards, which represents a person, and we have the letter. So let's just begin at the beginning here. We have the woman and letter. This is news, contact, communication, and the stork is very much about action. So it is a green light. It is the go ahead. And this news or this contact, it puts things into motion. Now, here's what's interesting is that after this busy kind of outward expressive energy here, we have the Tower and Snake. And these are some really quiet cards. So the Tower is often a card of solitude and being removed. And the Snake is very much a card of silence, even secrecy. So when we see them together, it's clear that you should not react to this news immediately. You want to take it away and you want to think about it. And what I'm also thinking is that you might want to ask someone about it. So before you act on it or respond, you might want to double check or sense check or get some additional info or get a feel for what it's about or if there's anything behind it with someone here. It's a possibility, but definitely with the Tower and Snake, you want to take it away for a little bit. And then we have the Sun and Bird, and these are very exciting cards, and they are very positive cards. The Sun is one of the brightest cards of the deck, and seeing it with the Bird, it influences it in a very positive way, and it suggests that there's some bright news, some really good news, and some excitement as well. So after thinking about it or taking it away, you respond positively and you're able to move ahead or act on it or do whatever it is you need to do about this piece of news. I'm also thinking that if this is about a personal relationship, whoever is the woman, by the way, you might want to play hard to get a little bit with the Tower and Snake. And then there's like this excitement that comes. So very beautiful cards, especially because we've got the Sun and Birds at the end of the line. Now, the Stork and Snake, so this confirms what we said, that you want to take it away, that you don't react to it. You know, you are responsive, but not reactive. So be thoughtful and mindful about this and be on top of it. So it sounds like this is what's going to give you a position of power or, you know, a sense of empowerment from this. The letter and Sun is very good news. It's also news that answers a wish. And then we've got the Bird and woman, bird, which points to a conversation or communication with this person. So some really bright cards, some very good news. It's probably news that answers what you want. It's very positive feedback. It's just that in the middle here, we've got the Tower and Snake, and you sort of want to take it away a little bit. Now, I have another idea that comes to mind based on these cards, Cancer. And that is that, you know, this news that you get, you might not share it with others immediately because it can bring about change, or it brings about something that you want to you're working through. So you know how we feel like we want to just hold on to it a little bit secretly, and then when we're ready, we share it. And that could be what's going on here. So these are really bright cards, whether it's a personal relationship or it's something else in your life. And I have to say that in terms of context, the cards are really flexible. We don't see if this is personal, romantic, work-related, business. You know, it can be something legal, official because of the Tower, but it's flexible. So these cards can apply in any context in your life. You let me know, Cancer, in what area they played out for you. Again, like I said, it's very important that you be responsive and not reactive. So take it away for a bit and then act on it. And let me know what hopefully wishes were fulfilled, or what is the positive feedback that you hopefully got. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. So very best of luck with this, Cancer. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Leo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your line of 7. It has quite a lot of depth, and there's a very positive energy, and there's something very deep to these cards, mainly because of the snake and cross. And we have the road and the moon and the tree and the star. Wow, there's a lot of deeper inspiration here. And then we have the house at the end of the line. I have to wonder if maybe you just want to spend time on your own this week or make some deep changes. Let's back up here. So we have the star and tree. This is a very beautiful combination. This is about wish fulfillment, growth, inspiration, pursuing your dreams, and going for the bigger things in your life. Now, the thing about the snake and road is that they point to change. And the snake and tree is very much a combination of wisdom. I think you see the reference, right? The Garden of Eden and the tree and the snake and knowledge. A lot of people have a really negative view about the snake. I don't really subscribe to this. I think there are many ways the snake is a beautiful card and a beautiful symbol more generally beyond Lenormand. So when we see it with the tree, there's definitely a message of wisdom. And on top of this, we have the star, which is a beautiful healing card. And the snake is also the card of medicine, and the tree is also a healing energy. So with the road, I really think you could be shedding skin. This could be a deep transformation. You could be making some deep realizations, and you could be moving on and growing and pursuing something else. So we've got the road right in the middle, and the road is a card of change, a card of travel, a card of choices, especially with the cross, because this tells us that you are at crossroads, and when usually this happens, we have to make a choice. So it sounds like you are you're going through some kind of redirection, Leo, and it has more depth than usual. These cards are very that there's a lot of your inner life that is expressed through these cards. And on top of this, we have the moon. So this is a card of many things, but it is also the card of intuition, emotions, deeper emotions, psychism, and things like that. And we see it with the cross, we see it with the tree. We've got all of these amazing cards here. And then we have the house. So the house, it points to home, family, and all of that good stuff. But in this context, this is very much about your inner house. And this is very much about your privacy and going within this week. So you could be going through some deep changes, some deep realizations. It could be a really intuitive and psychic week for you, Leo. And I think you want to protect your space, like you want to protect this process. You want to protect your energy as you go through this. And so the house is really great here to tell you to just go into your cocoon and protect your space and your privacy so you can process what you're going through. I really think there's a much deeper energy here with all of these cards coming together. Now, from a more kind of day-to-day, mundane kind of way, these are great cards for doing well, for pursuing your goals, but also doing this quietly, prioritizing in this regard, and going about your stuff in a calm and quiet way. I can also suggest that you could get an invitation, an offer, or some kind of like opportunity to meet with someone in the house or to go someplace. And here, I think you're going to take your time with this, to assess if you're going to go. But I do think you end up going because we have the star and house at the bottom here. It's just that these cards are very much assessment column cards, and actually the tree and moon can very much support this as well. So you might have an opportunity or an invitation to go somewhere, meet with someone, or even get an offer of sorts, work or something else, and it could be quite good for you, but there's a bit of a transition here. So we saw that the star and house, this is a very bright combination. It's great for all sorts of wishes materializing. Earlier, we have the snake and cross, and this is a difficult pair. It does point to assessing things and, prioritizing and thinking about things deeply. The tree and moon is also a slow combination and very much about going within and, tuning into your inner world and your intuition. And then we have this beautiful combination here. So there's a beautiful manifest energy through the bottom cards, but there's a lot going on inside of you and within before this manifests. You don't need to rush anything. Align within yourself, take your time with things, and move ahead. So some really amazing cards, Leo, honestly. This is rare. I get asked a lot about spirituality with Lenormand. Well, here it is, and it's hard not to see this because Lenormand is very practical. It's very in your face. That's why we were attracted to it. But it doesn't mean that we can't read it for different contexts. And this reading is a really great example of how spirituality and your inner world can be expressed with Lenormand. It's the power of combinations. It's the power of combinations and the power of Lenormand's correspondences, which is the idea that we can read the cards for different contexts. So very exciting line with a lot of depth and substance. Let me know what you make of this, Leo. I'm very curious about how you resonated with this reading. If you're willing to share, leave me a comment or two. So very best of luck with the week as always. Leo, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Virgo, let's get into your weekly reading. Let's see what is in store for you. Okay, Virgo, here is your line of 7, and it's quite an amazing line. We have some really nice cards here with the clover, cross, and flowers. The cross is often challenging, but in this triplet, this is all around good fortune, things that are meant to be, and some very beautiful outcomes here. Earlier, we have the fox between the book and mountain. And the fox is a card that can be difficult. It can represent someone deceptive. The thing about it being between the book and mountain is that something was out of reach or away or silent and not coming through. The mountain is a card of blockages and the book is a card of mysteries. And with the fox, which is also a quiet and calm card, it sounds like something was off limits, on hold, or you weren't hearing from this person or from this situation. And then we get the rider, which is the card of the messenger. So this is definitely news. And it's really nice to see it after this triplet because it tells us that after this time when things were on hold or you weren't hearing back, things come through. And then we have the lovely clover, cross, and flowers, which answers a wish and things work out in a very beautiful way. And I have to say, almost like magic. It's like things fall into place almost magically. So this is a very beautiful message. Now, something else that could be at play is that maybe you are the one who was silent or was keeping to yourself or keeping it under your hat. And then you find the right time to move forward or express or communicate, and it has some very beautiful outcomes. So it could be either that you're waiting or you're the one who's waiting. Now, the mountain and clover is lovely for breaking through obstacles. It's also great for travel or a location abroad that turns out to be a really good place for you. It doesn't have to be in another country, but it could just be another place. And the thing about the Rider is that it is potentially a card of travel, usually shorter term travel, but that's flexible. So the Mountain and Clover could be great for a place in another location or just breaking through obstacles. But it is also a message for blessings in disguise. So if you feel that something is blocked and it's not working, don't get frustrated, because there could be a good reason for it. Now, the Fox and Cross can take on a few different meanings. It can be a challenging pair, tricky, someone difficult, and you have to sort of put up with this. And it could also be out of your hands, so you feel that you can't do anything about it. Now, the Fox is also a card of jobs, work, employment. And so maybe you are getting an offer or you have an opportunity for a project, and it could be quite a significant one for you. And certainly with the Clover and flowers on either side of the cross, it really helps bring out the more positive energy here. Now, the Book and Flowers is great for the news that comes through, especially in this order. We have the Flowers, which is a card of blooming. It's a card of spring, so after the dead of winter, it blooms. And so there's a parallel with this book. So after it's been quiet, it comes out and there's some wonderful news. So it's really exciting here. It sounds like timing is almost everything. And so patience is key, whether it's on you or it depends on someone else. But definitely things are going to progress, Virgo, so don't worry. And also, if you're feeling frustrated, remember that there may be a good reason for why things are on hold. If you have an opportunity to travel or to go somewhere, Virgo, I would say these are great cards. I would just say plan it well. And if you have the opportunity to take up a project or do something possibly a bit different, then definitely enjoy that as well. So things are going to fall into place. Just be a bit patient, and the message is going to come through. The news is going to work out, and you're going to be able to move forward. So that sounds really exciting. Now, I have to say, Virgo, that the cards are really flexible in terms of context. The Fox is, like I said, a card of work and jobs, but it doesn't have to be. So whether this is work related or something else in your personal life or, whatever area of your life, it can apply. I have to say that I'm not really seeing people cards. Yes, the Rider is a person card, but it tends to represent a messenger and not so much a relationship. If we had more love cards or relationship cards, I could have suggested that he's like your knight in shining armor type of character, but we're not really seeing this in this set of cards. So it seems to be focused on you mostly and not so much on other people. And this news that comes through, the feedback, and this this overcoming this phase of stuckness that kicks things into motion, into a very beautiful energy here. So a very exciting set of cards. I certainly look forward to hear from you, Virgo, what you felt this was about. They're quite, they can apply in different contexts. So I look forward to your comments if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in as always. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Libra, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Libra, here is your line of 7, and I have to say it's challenging and very straightforward. There is an issue with a person and you could be parting ways with this person. Now, what's interesting about the line is the fish at the end of the line. It can mean a few things, but normally it is a card of money and finances and work and business. So this can be in a work context, a business context, or it can be someone who has affected your finances or your resources in one way or another. So have a look at these cards here. They are so clear. We have the Whip, Woman, and then the Road, Snake, and the Ring and Mouse. So very clear the challenges in the relationship. So the Whip and Woman is a conflict. It's usually an argument, a disagreement with this person. The Road is about parting and change, and certainly with the Snake, it's about letting go and moving away. So very clear messages right from the get-go. And then we have the Ring, which is a card of relationships. And the Ring is followed by the Mouse. So between the Snake and Mouse, there's definitely a trust issue in here, Libra, and it's very clear that you cannot trust this person, and there's a very clear fallout here. And like I said, there's the fish at the end of the line. So how the fish plays out for you in your context specifically in this relationship. It's kind of flexible, but it does bring up an element of work, money, business, resources, and the practical side of your life. So this could be happening on the job. Maybe you let go of a job. Maybe you let go of a customer. And it can also mean that this person has affected your money or your resources in a negative way. And so you need to draw a line here. So very clear cards. Now, who this person is specifically, it's flexible. Apart from the clue that comes from the fish, it could be in any context of your life. It could be someone at work. It could be a customer. It could be any friend or, someone in your life. And it could be a personal relationship, Libra. I cannot deny all of the possibilities or, preclude them. So the road and a ring, it would have meant pursuing a relationship because of the order of the cards, but because of the surrounding cards, we can't really say that, Libra. It really points to this decision and choice that you need to make about this relationship. The woman and mouse points to issues in the relationship. Now, normally, these are not very big issues, but because of other cards in the line, we can't limit it to that, Libra. We have to take everything into account. And the whip and fish points to financial challenges normally. So again, this could be someone who has caused you issues with your work, money, business, finances, or the practical side of your life, your resources, and things like that. Or it could be something strictly about work or business. It depends on your situation. But the conflict and the issues are clear. With this person, Libra, there's no two ways around it. The concentration of challenging cards around the relationship are very clear. Now, the snake is in the middle of your line. So that's an interesting card to see right in the center. It is normally a card of silence and secrecy. So I have to wonder about what's the best approach for you to handle this. Earlier, we see the whip, and the whip is often a card of conflict and direct confrontation. But maybe because the snake is the central card, in your specific situation, Libra, this whip here suggests that someone is a problem person, a troublesome person, a source of trouble. And the snake in the middle advises you to move away calmly and gently. So without responding to their belligerent behavior, you sort of, you don't catch their fireball and you move on. And you just work on protecting yourself, protecting your resources. What's also possible, Libra, that's possible, is that there is a difficult person in your life that you need to deal with in a calm way, and you need to manage them. And unfortunately, you might need to put up with how they're causing you to waste or to drain, your resources to some extent. So I think you should move away from this person at the quickest possible. If you still need to put up with them for a while, do what you need to do, but really work on trying to save as much of your resources as possible and trying to reduce waste as much as possible. And the sooner you can wrap this up, the better. So prioritize your situation, prioritize your goals. But if you have still some responsibilities towards this person, then, deal with it as much as possible, but definitely make adjustments, Libra, because you can't just let them drain you or waste your resources or take advantage of you in any way. But again, because of the snake in the middle, it sounds like the best approach for you is not to respond in the way, like their attitude. So it sounds like they're pretty problematic and they have a bad attitude, but don't respond in kind. Just handle things carefully and just focus on your goals and on managing this and then moving away from it at the soonest you can. So a bit of a difficult situation here with a person. Of course, there can be other things happening in your life, obviously, but it seems that this is in focus. So be aware of this and manage this as carefully and cleverly as you can and focus on your bottom line as much as possible. And like I said, the context is kind of flexible, although the fish suggests a more material thing, but it could be someone in your personal life who's affecting your resources. So that's flexible. So let me know what you make of this, Libra. This is very curious and, I'm wondering about the fish in here, how it played out for you. And hopefully you can manage this and put them in place as much as possible. So best of luck with this. Again, I look forward to your feedback, Libra. Let me know how you manage this. I'm kind of curious if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Scorpio, here is your line of 7. It's looking really easygoing and peaceful and even fun. The garden is in the middle and we have the dog nearby, which is a card of friends. So it could be quite a sociable week, and it's definitely a good idea to spend time with people and take it easy and enjoy some good times. You could also be dating or, meeting someone one-to-one, and it could feel really good, and feelings could develop. In the earlier side of the line here, we have the house with the flowers and dog. So the thing about the house and garden is that they're kind of opposite in the sense that the house is private and the garden is public. And so the house can point to a more intimate kind of situation, and the garden a more public, a more open situation. Now we have the flowers and dog between them. This is great for a relationship and for having fun with someone. You could also be spending some good times with someone. Maybe you spend a bit of time at home and then go out together, or maybe you need to get out of your shell a little bit and go out and meet with people or with this person. So this is great for a connection. And then we have the tree and heart, which is lovely for evolving and developing feelings, growing, deepening feelings. Remember that the tree has deep roots, so it could be, growing inside and out and, all of this beautiful stuff. And then we have the stork, which is great for picking things up. So there's definitely some exciting action here. In terms of your feelings, it could be exciting and it could be growing and really moving in a positive direction. Now, I think it's more of a personal relationship. Like we have a lot of these more personal cards. We have the dog, which is a friend. It can be colleagues, siblings, and anything else. But we also have with the flowers, the house, the tree, the heart. So there's all of these soft cards. So I'm not seeing a work context. I'm not seeing a professional context or, these other practical sides of your life. We're really just seeing a friendship here, a connection that is deepening, that you're enjoying, and that you're spending time with. So I would say focus on this person, Scorpio, spend time with them, go out with them, invite them over or go to their place or, do things together and enjoy yourselves. It's looking really positive. The dog and tree is lovely for a growing connection. The flowers and heart is lovely for all sorts of gentle, kind, loving feelings. It could also be flirting. It could be exciting. It could be attraction, really lovely. Now, the house and stork is normally a house move. Obviously, this is not related to the rest of the line. So what this more probably suggests is that you're doing things together, going places. Maybe there's an invitation. Maybe you join a group or do stuff together. The idea is really to be active. And I would also say, Scorpio, because we saw this a couple of times, is that you want to get out a little bit. So get out of your shell. Don't just stay home. Go out, do something, hang out with your friend here, or maybe go out and meet people. So really nice cards for a relationship, for a friendship. It's great for meeting someone. It's great for a date. It's great for deepening your connection with someone. Now, in case this is not about love for you or something personal, like friends, lovers, or, those sorts of people in that side of life, it is also good for any relationship. You could be getting to know this person or deepening your trust in them. You could be collaborating, working together, and it sounds pretty exciting. So definitely make the time, Scorpio, for this person. Take the trouble to get out of your shell, and you're going to not regret this at all. You're going to really enjoy the outcome. So let me know what you make of this lovely line, Scorpio. Let me know who this person is and what you guys did together, what it was about, if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7. Let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your line of 7, and what immediately jumps out to me is the last 3 cards here, which can point to a trip. We have all 3 cards that can be travel related, and then we're seeing them all together, so they really bring out this travel element. We have the mountain, ship, and stork, so you could be going somewhere. In the middle, we have the woman. She could represent anyone, really, but it does suggest that maybe you're getting together with this person, or maybe she invites you, or perhaps she's the one who's traveling. Now, earlier, we have the bear with the bird and flowers, and this is great news. And there is the idea of getting feedback. Because the flowers is a card of renewal, it's a card of return. When we see it with the bird, it suggests this idea of feedback. And with the bear, there can be some important news. And the flowers is a very bright card, so it's really exciting. You hear back from this person, or maybe you're doing something together, you're getting together, maybe you're traveling together, she's coming or you're going. You know, these are all possible scenarios. Now, in case this isn't about travel for you, Sagittarius, the ship and stork are very good cards for moving forward with goals and objectives. The mountain, in this sense, can suggest that maybe things were stuck for a bit, but now you're able to kick off and move forward. So these are really good cards. They're great for a supportive relationship that brings you news, that helps you move forward. They're great for collaborating with someone. They're great for connecting with someone. And they're great for going places, visiting, traveling, and getting really busy, I would say, as well. Now, the flowers and mountain is great for a renewal and for bringing things into motion. Now, I would have preferred if the mountain was earlier, because the mountain on the other side of the flowers can put things on hold, but not for long, because afterwards we have the ship and stork in here. Oops. And we have the bird and ship, which is another combination for movement and travel. It's also great for news, for communication, for interaction and activity. And on top of this, we have the beautiful bear and stork, which could be a major step forward. So these are great cards for moving forward, going places, getting things done, achieving goals, collaborating, connecting with others. It's a busy week, Sagittarius, and it's very exciting. And I certainly hope you're in the mood, because you're going to get busy. I think this person supports you. They have your back, and it sounds like you could get along, and there's certainly some good interaction here. So these are some lovely cards across the board, Sagittarius. Just be willing to get involved, to be active, to act on whatever news or feedback or green light you get. The cards are flexible in terms of context. They're great for a personal relationship. You could be catching up with someone, going places with a friend, and doing all sorts of fun things. It could also be a more personal relationship where maybe you're getting closer, having fun together, and doing stuff together. They're also great cards for your work, money, business, your activities, your projects. It's very productive and even creative, so really enjoy the process. And of course, they're great for travel. So if you're able to travel, or if there's an opportunity to go places, then definitely do that, because it could be really exciting. And I can also say, Sagittarius, that they're quite empowering. So this could be a time when you feel inspired, when you feel enthusiastic and you have momentum. Like there's a push, there's a push forward where you feel that there's tangible progress. And this person is in the center, so she seems to be playing an important role in all of this. So very beautiful card, Sagittarius. Enjoy this moment here and go for it. Let me know how it plays out. Let me know who this person was, or what the context was for you specifically, if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your line of 7. It's a really interesting line, and it's a very beautiful line. Even though, apart from the sun, the cards are sort of neutral. At the outset, we have the sun and moon together, and this is often a combination of love because of the archetypal association of the sun with the masculine and the moon with the feminine. So when we see them together, they can symbolize love. They can also symbolize another kind of collaboration, but they're certainly great cards for wish fulfillment, attraction, and things coming together. In the middle, we have the lily, which is about your life path, your career, and possibly your health. And at the end of the line, we have the child, which is a card of new beginnings. So it sounds like there's an unfolding and there is an opening and something is materializing, but there is this overall gentle and calm energy because overall these cards are kind of slow. So after the moon and sun and moon, we have the tree, and the tree is a card of growth, and it's a card that blooms, and it has to do with strength and vitality and a sense of overall well-being. So it's really nice to see it with the tree. And we have the lily, which is your life path, and it can be about health. So there is certainly a sense of feeling good where you are, and feeling connected with what you're doing. You're definitely in a space of peace and strength. And the bear really adds to this because the bear is another power card. It is solid, a bit like the tree, but it is also a card of strength and power. So this is definitely a message of growth, well-being, success, but in a quiet way. And it's like you have a very strong foundation within you. And then we've got the cross and child, which points to a new beginning and one that is meant to be. Now, the cross can be a challenging card. A lot of people read it as challenging, but it's not always bad news like that. And it also has deeper kind of energies. So it's not just a shallow problem like that. The cross is about deeper lessons, destiny, deep choices and things like that. So it sounds like with all of this going on here, there is a deep sense of alignment and connecting with your goals, your life, your deeper purpose. I read earlier a very spiritual line as well. I forget which sign, but see if you can catch it. And so we're seeing a similar energy of something deeper and spiritual happening. And then we have the child, which is a card of new beginnings. But on an inner sense, you could be moving into a new phase of your life. You could be moving into a new awareness. And of course, there can be a tangible parallel to all of this in your life where there's a new chapter. But these cards here, they have deep inner energy. So it's quite a line, I have to say. So the tree and book, this is great for growth. It's also great for promotion. So if you're doing something related to work, or if this is about work, jobs, or your life in general, it's great for a step up. It's great for growth and empowerment. And, the inner dimension of this is clear. You need to step into your power, Capricorn. You need to embrace your power and you need to be willing to grow, and so this is what you could be embracing this week. So very exciting. The moon and cross, here's another lovely spiritual combination. This is great for making the right choices, making aligned choices. It's also great for tuning into yourself and I would say honoring your inner voice. You definitely want to honor your inner voice. You could also be getting an important invitation. You could be getting honors. You could be getting appreciation, especially with the rest of the line and the empowering tree and bear and the beautiful sun here. So very beautiful cards. Now the sun and child is lovely for healing, all around healing, a new page, a new chapter, a new beginning. So such an amazing line, very special. And like I said, there was another very spiritual line. And I'm bringing this up because I get a lot of comments about Lenormand if Lenormand is spiritual, because Lenormand is so practical and in your face, as we like to say, but it doesn't mean that we can't read it for spiritual context. And the cards themselves do speak in this way. It's really the power of combinations and the power of correspondences and the idea that we can read cards for different contexts. So this is quite a beautiful line. There's definitely a lot of inner stuff happening here, Capricorn. There is a sense of alignment. There is a sense of depth and growth and maturing and empowerment. And I think you're ready to embrace this side of you. And this is where there's the, page turning into this new chapter. In terms of a relationship, and I say that because we had the sun and moon, right? And that's what I started the reading with. I was saying that the sun and moon can be about love and relationships. And so you could be growing into a relationship, and you could be turning the page in a new chapter in this relationship. Clearly, it's a deep relationship. There's a strong connection here with someone, and it has a spiritual dimension. It has like an inner dimension. In terms of the more day-to-day stuff, like we said, you could be getting a promotion, you could be stepping up to something, you could be getting honors and awards and appreciation, and you could be moving into a new chapter, whether it's at work or in your life in general or in some other aspect of your life. So really exciting cards, Capricorn. I certainly look forward to your feedback on this. If you're willing to share, let me know what this played out for you. And was there a strong inner dimension for you this week? I'd be really interested to know. So very best of luck with this, Capricorn. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your line of 7, and it's a little bit challenging. We have the whip, we have the mouse, and the fox. And we also have the book in the middle, which is a card of silence and secrecy. So what is going on here? Well, it's definitely revolving around news, and probably some bad news or some disappointing news. And what looks to be important here is how you handle it. And I say that because we have the key, and the key is a card of intelligence. We do have the mouse and fox afterwards, so it sounds like you're going to need to resolve the problem. Let's back up. So we have the mountain and whip, and this is a card of challenges, a combination of challenges, for sure. The whip by itself is challenging, and the mountain is a card of obstacles a lot of the time. So when we see them together, it does point to a confrontation. But what it also points to, like in a more nuanced way, is that you need to break the silence and you need to break the stuckness. So you need to know, you need to find out what is going on here, or what is this about? Or if you need to blow something out of the water, then you need to do this. And we see the letter here. So the whip and letter points to challenging news. So it's good that it's coming out, whether it's you who sends it out, or, you who expresses this news, or it comes to you. It's a good thing because things were stuck, or they possibly were. So that is some challenging news. And then we have the book. Now the book is also a card of news, especially with the letter, and it usually suggests some pretty important news. So this whole deal here is going to be in focus for you, or you need to pay attention to it at least. But what's also about the book is that it's a card of silence and secrecy, and it tends to be closed. It is closed in this deck, so it does inspire this thought, but it normally is, regardless of the design. And so with the key, which is a card of intelligence and being resourceful, I'm seeing here, Aquarius, that you need to find a solution. So it's not just about, and you don't want to be reactive, because the book is quiet, it's calm, it's also well researched, it's a card of knowledge, and the key is a card of solutions. So there's definitely a focus on problem solving here. So I would say, as best you can, Aquarius, don't be reactive to the news, but try to absorb it and see if you can start working towards a solution. So that's the attitude to have. Now, I have to say, though, unfortunately, that we have the mouse and fox after the key. So it doesn't seem to me that you are going to be able to solve the problem just yet within the week. There are some issues that need to be worked out. And you need to attend to this. So it sounds like it's a bit urgent because of the whip. And also the mouse has an important message every time, is that you want to pay attention to things while they are small so that they don't get out of hand. So as soon as you hear this news or this thing comes up, okay, see, tune into your problem-solving mind and focus on the solution and be ready to deal with these annoyances and these issues. Now, something else is coming through the fox. The fox can represent a person, and a person who is deceptive, selfish, self-interested. And so what I'm seeing here is that you might not get the cooperation that you would like, and so you are going to need to maneuver it. And again, I don't think that within the week you solve it, but you start to. So it's a bit challenging, Aquarius, and you need to bring out your problem-solving hat. And you want to be on top of this as soon as it comes up so that it doesn't grow into something bigger. And at the same time, it's a good thing that it comes out because it sounds like something was stuck. So now it's time to, for it to be purged out in order to be resolved. Now, here's an interesting combination. We have the letter and key, and this is very good news normally. So there's a bit of a contradiction here. Now, you don't need to read contradictions into Lenormand because it's up to you how you combine the cards and how you put the story together. So what I would say is, again, there's a smart way to respond to this. Don't be reactive. You need to focus on the problem and finding a solution. The whip and mouse is definitely a challenge. There are problems here and maybe multiple problems. So it can feel like it's a little bit all over the place. And then we have the mountain and fox, which is an interesting pair. And it does mirror the energy of the book in the center because the fox is a quiet, calculated, smart card. And the mountain is kind of removed. It's kind of cold and distant. So again, Aquarius, it's very key for you to keep your cool and to keep your your problem-solving hat as opposed to getting sucked into the negativity or the drama or the issues. So as quickly as possible, get on top of this. And also don't catch the fireball, so don't, that's the idea of the mountain, book, and fox, these three corners here. And don't catch the fireball. You want to have a cool mind and you want to focus on the solution as much as possible. So if someone trying to pull you into their drama, that's not what you're going to be sucked into. You're not there. You're on the solution side. So that is an empowering thing. And that is part of, this positive combination here. Now, in terms of the context of the cards, it's kind of really flexible. We're not seeing if this is specifically about work, money, even a person, home, family, personal relationships, other sorts of relationships. We're really just seeing the dynamic, and it's very flexible in terms of what context. The fox is potentially a card of work and employment. It is normally a card of that as well, but it can be just, the challenging card that it can be. So it's flexible. It can be something at work. It doesn't have to be. So the dynamic is flexible in terms of context. You let me know, Aquarius, where it played out for you, what the issue was, and hopefully were you able to maintain that problem-solving mind of yours and not react, and instead respond with intelligence and be quick to focus on the solution. I certainly hope so. So let me know how this played out for you, Aquarius. Very best of luck with the week as always. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your line of 7 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is your line of 7 and it looks like you are leaving. There's a big change. There's a big separation. We see this through the scythe and ring. This is the classic combination of a divorce. Now, I'm not seeing a relationship, so it's not really a divorce in that sense, but it is a breakaway. And then notice that we have the ship afterwards, so you're like sailing away and going off somewhere. Now, this could be physical, like you're physically traveling and leaving. But it could also be that you are making a deep change and releasing yourself from a certain involvement, a certain space, a certain situation, and just going off into a different direction. We have the garden in the middle, which points to that place. And earlier we have the fish, which is a card of money, work, and business. So let's see what this is about. Earlier we have the fish with the cross and tower. Now, this can point to an important decision, and it sounds like it's out of your hands. So maybe you're waiting for feedback or an opportunity from someone. You could also be going through tests and assessments or making some decisions around your work, your business, or in this sort of area of life. And then we have the garden at the top, which is often a card of meeting. So it can represent the place that you've been in for a while. And then we have the scythe and ring, which is that separation, and the ship, which is that sailing off, which we just mentioned. Now here we could, like I said, it could be about this assessment or this decision that is pending, but it is also, the Tower is also a card of time and longevity. So it sounds like you'd been in a space or in a situation for some time, but now you're breaking away and making changes. And like I said, this could depend on someone's decision or something. The Tower can also be a card of the past. So actually when we see it with the Scythe, you could be releasing the past. You could also be releasing a phase. And I say this because the Tower tends to be a longer term kind of card. It has to do a bit with the life path picture, just like the lily and tree. So with the Scythe, there's a release. The Cross and Ring is an important relationship. It can also be responsibilities. So the Ring is not just about a relationship, but it could be that involvement card, your commitments, your responsibilities. And with the Cross, you could be making some important decisions about what you're going to take on next or about a relationship. And then we have the beautiful Fish and Ship. These are great cards for work, money, business, seeing your efforts materialize, getting rewards for what you've done and all of that stuff. So these are great cards for your work, your money, your business. And this could be the area of focus as opposed to, let's say, home, personal relationships, and things like that. So this is really exciting, Pisces. It looks like you're getting ready to make a change, and a big one. Potentially. This could be releasing a whole phase and, turning things around into a new chapter. You could be releasing where you currently are. You could be physically moving and traveling. This too is possible. In terms of a personal relationship, I can't dismiss this possibility. You could be releasing a certain context or a certain group or a certain environment. And also a specific relationship. But also, Pisces, we do have the Ring and Ship. So this is great for a relationship. So forget the Scythe for a bit here. This is really positive for moving forward in a relationship. So when we have the Scythe earlier, there's a separation and then an engagement. A separation from someone, something, situation, and then a commitment moving forward in a new relationship, in another relationship, or in this involvement. So these are exciting cards, Pisces. And, my feeling is that it could be a handful because we have the Cross and Tower, and these are kind of bigger cards. They affect your life as a whole. The Cross is a card of destiny. It can be your deeper life lessons. So this could be a big deal of a change. And it could affect your work, your money, your business, and probably for the better because we have the Fish and Ship. So this is exciting. I would say, Pisces, go with this, make the change. It's time, and it could be swift. It could happen like you're sort of waiting on it, and then you're gonna move ahead. You have to break off, make changes, and sail away. So very exciting, great for your projects, great for your changes, great for moves, and also very good for your work, money, and business. So hopefully this change is for the better, is going to put you on a more prosperous course, and hopefully a course that's tightly aligned with your purpose and your ambitions and the things that you want. But be willing to change, be willing to go for it, and hopefully you will. Let me know what you make of this, Pisces. I certainly look forward to your thoughts about this. What was the change for you? Was it quick or was it, not so quick? And did it involve travel or, what was this movement about for you? And hopefully you're ready for this. As always, I look forward to your feedback if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with the week, Pisces. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.